Want to know one of the biggest surprises people experience when they retire? I'm going to give you a hint. It isn't the stock market, it's not inflation, and it isn't healthcare. It's their tax bill. After spending decades saving for retirement, many people assume they'll automatically be in a lower tax bracket once they stop working. But for a growing number of retirees, it's exactly the opposite is what's happening. They're paying more in taxes than they ever expected. And in some cases, they're paying more taxes in retirement than they did while they were working. If that sounds impossible, just stay with me for a second, because today I'm going to explain why this is happening, what has changed over the last several years, and more importantly, what you can do about it before it becomes a problem for you. So here's the first thing you need to understand. The retirement landscape has changed dramatically. Years ago, retirement often meant living on Social Security, maybe a pension, maybe a small IRA. Today, pensions have largely disappeared. Instead, millions of Americans have accumulated substantial balances inside their traditional IRAs and 401ks. Now, at first glance, that sounds like great news, right? But there's one important detail that many people overlook. Those accounts aren't tax-free. They're tax deferred. That means the IRS simply agreed to wait. Eventually, they want their share. And that brings us to one of the biggest reasons retirees are paying more taxes than expected. It's required minimum distributions. Once you reach the age the IRS requires, you don't get to decide whether you want to withdraw money from many tax-deferred retirement accounts. The government decides for you. Those withdrawals become taxable income, even if you don't actually need the money. I've met people who were perfectly comfortable living off Social Security and investment income. Then required minimum distributions began. Suddenly, they had tens of thousands of dollars additional taxable income they never planned on taking. That pushed them into higher tax brackets, and it increased the taxation of their Social Security benefits as well. And in some situations, it even increased their Medicare premiums. One decision triggered multiple tax consequences. And this is exactly why retirement tax planning is so important. Now, if you're watching this video and wondering whether this could happen to your own situation, that's exactly what we help clients evaluate. You can schedule a complimentary retirement planning conversation using the link in this description below this video, and we'll discuss how you could potentially minimize your taxes during retirement. Now, let's talk about another reason taxes are increasing for retirees: tax rates themselves. Many people assume today's tax rates will stay the same forever. Now, history suggests otherwise. Current tax laws are scheduled to change unless Congress acts. No one knows exactly what future tax legislation will look like either, but we do know this: the national debt, it continues to grow. Government spending continues to increase. And many financial professionals believe taxes may eventually need to rise to generate additional tax revenue. Now, whether that happens next year or 10 years from now, nobody knows. But assuming today's tax rates will last forever is a risky assumption. That's what's often called legislative risk. It's not investment risk, it's tax law risk. And unlike market performance, it's completely outside your control. Which leads me to an important question. If you believe taxes could be higher in the future, now, does it really make sense to leave all your retirement savings in accounts that haven't been taxed yet? For many people, the answer may be no. Now, that doesn't mean everyone should immediately convert everything to a Roth account. Far from it. Good tax planning is rarely all or nothing. It's about creating flexibility. Some years, it may make sense to convert a portion of your IRA. Other years, it may not. The goal isn't simply paying less tax today. Your goal is potentially reducing your lifetime tax burden over decades. That's a very different conversation. Now, another reason retirees are seeing larger tax bills is something called tax torpedoes. Now, it's not an official IRS term, mind you, but it's commonly used to describe situations where one additional dollar of income triggers multiple layers of taxation. Here's a simple example. You withdraw money from your IRA. That increases your taxable income, right? Now, more of your Social Security benefits become taxable. That higher income may also increase your Medicare premiums as well. One withdrawal creates three separate financial consequences. Now, most retirees never see that coming, and unfortunately, many discover it after it's already happened. Another issue is timing. Many people wait until retirement to start thinking about taxes, but by then, many opportunities have already passed. The best tax planning often happens years before retirement. During the years between retirement and required minimum distributions, or during lower income years, or while tax brackets are temporarily favorable. Those windows can create planning opportunities that simply don't exist later. That's why proactive planning can be so valuable. Waiting until taxes become a problem usually limits options. This is why I often tell clients investment returns alone don't determine retirement success. What matters is how much money you actually keep after paying taxes. For example, two retirees with identical portfolios. They earn similar investment returns, but one has developed a tax-efficient withdrawal strategy. The other simply withdraws money whenever it's available. 20 years later, their after-tax wealth can look dramatically different. Not because one invested better, but because one planned for taxes better. That's an important distinction. Retirement planning isn't just about growing assets. It's about managing withdrawals, taxes, income sources, Social Security timing, healthcare costs, estate planning, and long-term flexibility. Everything works together, which brings me to one of the biggest misconceptions I hear. People say, my CPA handles my taxes. Well, your CPA is incredibly important, but many CPAs focus primarily on preparing tax returns accurately. Retirement tax planning is often about looking years or even decades into the future. It's asking questions like, should income be recognized now or later? Should Roth conversions be spread out over multiple years? Which account should be withdrawn first? How will required minimum distributions affect future tax brackets? How will today's tax decisions affect a surviving spouse years from now? Those are retirement planning conversations, not just tax preparation. And the earlier they're addressed, the more choices you typically have. Now, let's be clear. No strategy eliminates taxes completely, and every person's financial situation is unique. The goal isn't to avoid taxes altogether. The goal is to understand your options before important decisions become irreversible. Because once required minimum distributions begin, once tax brackets change and taxes increase, or once large withdrawals become necessary, your flexibility may be reduced. So planning early simply gives you more choices. And that's exactly why we encourage people to review their retirement income strategy well before they actually need the income. Sometimes it identifies opportunities that could improve your long-term tax efficiency. Either way, you'll have greater clarity, and that's valuable. So if you're approaching retirement, recently retired, or simply wondering whether your current plan could expose you to higher taxes later, we'd be happy to have that conversation with you. We'll review your current retirement accounts, we'll discuss your potential tax considerations, evaluate your income strategy, and help you understand what options may be available based on your individual goals. And as independent retirement planners, we don't believe every solution fits every person. Our role is to help you understand your choices so you can make informed decisions with confidence. If you'd like to learn more, click the link in the description below this video to schedule your complimentary retirement planning consultation. Thanks for watching today, and I'll see you in the next video.